Hi, my name is Alba. The channel name is Seriela. I'm going to skip my usual introduction because I want this to be short and sweet. I just watched a couple of days ago a very engaging video over at Jay Shay's channel because we both read Coriolanus for ShakeTube, and I was immediately engaged with Coriolanus. Let me explain my background, why I should be interested in Shakespeare at all. You guys who have been with me for a while know that I was raised in the inner city of Chicago a while back when comic books were 10 cents. And my father did not approve of comic books. So to counter their influence, their bad influence, he went off and he bought us a series called Junior Classics Illustrated. And among those Junior Classic Illustrated, which were comics, but of classics, we had The Count of Monte Cristo, we had The Man with the Mask, The Invisible Man, and Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, and Midsummer's Night's Dream, that I remember vividly. I fell in love with the stories of Shakespeare. Then later on in high school, had a very, very good English teacher and who taught Hamlet very well and made us memorize some of the monologues in Hamlet. And I'll never forget that. So I have this this bit of respect for Shakespeare, and which is why I was so pumped to participate in ShakeTube last year and again this year. So I read Coriolanus and was immediately engaged. Why? Because, well, what is it about? It's about a man called Caius Marcius, who is a war hero in Rome in the early days of the Republic. And he has a big reputation. Everybody knows who he is. And he was groomed by his mother to be a military hero. Okay. But what happens? At the beginning, right off the bat, the citizens are up in arms, literally. They are protesting because they are hungry. And you guys know what's been happening in Puerto Rico lately. So I immediately identified. The citizens were protesting in Coriolanus because they were hungry. And they had vowed that they would rather die fighting for food than to die of hunger. And they came to that agreement, and they were on their way, and one of the people that they were going to target was precisely Caius Marcius. What happens? Right then and there, internal divisions. Not everybody is up to this strategy of attacking Caius Marcius. Citizen 1 is all for it because Caius Marcius is not very politically correct. He scorns the commonality. He scorns the common man. He doesn't believe that people who do not fight for their country should eat. It's like people who say that people who don't work should not eat. Well, he's the kind of person who says people who don't serve should not eat. And But there are citizens who say, well, he has served his country. And, you know, he's done a lot for the country. And he's not covetous. He's not covetous. But citizen one again is, like, you know, no. He's not covetous, but he has enough other faults, you know, to justify our protesting against him. In comes Menenius, who is a skilled politician. He is skilled with words, and he is a person who has been like a mentor to Caius Marcius, who, interestingly enough, has no father, just has a mother and a wife and a son. And in comes, on the scene of these mutinous citizens, in enters Menenius, who is perceived by the people as an honest man. And he immediately starts pandering to the crowd. And I'll read how he approaches them. Why, masters, my good friends, mine honest neighbors, will you undo yourselves? And as a skilled public relations person who is out to defend his mentee, war hero Caius Marcius, he convinces the crowd with an interesting fable about the body politic. It was very interesting how he views the body politic, and frankly infantilizes the crowd by saying that the Senate and the patricians and all the people who have been storing the surplus corn away from the people are the ones who are in charge and are as fathers to the people who are, of course, the children. Okay, and they are the ones who have the right to proceed as such, right? Touching the weal of the common, you shall no public benefit which you receive, but it proceeds and comes from them to you. From up on high, all commonwealth comes down to you. All benefits come down to you. And no way from yourselves. That concept that all benefit, the trickle-down economy, that's exactly what I envisioned when he was talking to them that way. A trickle-down economy, which never trickles down. Anyway, he seems to mollify the crowd. What happens? Politically incorrect Caius Marcius, the war hero, enters the scene and starts insulting the crowd right and left. What doesn't he tell them? To their faces. He's honest, at least, at the very least. But his scorn, his disdain for the commonality, for the common man, just oozes from every pore of his body. But Menenius prevails. Menenius prevails. And to make a long story short, the patricians and the people in charge, right, Menenius, Caius Marcius' mother, you know, the hoi polloi convince the war hero to become a politician and to run for council. But to run for council, he has to appeal to the voices which mean the votes of the citizens, the common people. Oh, and he really, really doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be like Menenius. He doesn't want to pander to the common people, doesn't want their vote. And, but he has to. Mommy wants him to. So he acquiesces and he decides that he's going to do it. But he does it begrudgingly. And as time goes on, there are people in the factions of the common people who are dead set against him. And after the votes have been given to him, they take it back. They take back their support of Caius Marcius, who has been renamed Coriolanus because of his conquest of the city of Coriolanus. Anyway, yeah. So they withdraw their support of him. And he becomes so enraged that when they say, "We banish you, you're banished from here. We banish you from Rome," he said, No. You don't banish me. I quit. I'm leaving. And he joins the enemy side. The people that he has just conquered, he joins them in fighting against Rome. And I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to spoil the story for you because this is just going to be a short video. I just wanted to come here and explain why I found this story so compelling after the summer of 2019 in Puerto Rico. I'm not too much interested in the individual hero. I know he's a tragic figure, and it was sort of tragic that after his mother had groomed him for the honor of being a war hero, then she wants him to have the honor of being a noble, which he knew had nothing to do with being noble. But once he concedes to her wishes, right, and brokers a peace, his enemies kill him, as often happens, as we have seen many, many times in history. Yeah. So anyway, that was why this read was so compelling to me. Finally, on thrift books, I got the complete works of William Shakespeare, because I figured I only have this one. The letters are tiny, teeny, tiny, but I have my magnifying glasses. So I only have this one, which is incomplete. I took bunches of notes on this one. And but after the protests in Puerto Rico of Ricky Renuncia, the fact that this starts with the people protesting and that tension between the common people and the patricians, and how democracy works and how public opinion can be swayed, and the idea that the public is fickle, is one way one day and another way the other day. How supposed leaders are formed and groomed. All of those things I saw in Coriolanus, well, because of the situation in which we find ourselves. The fact that they were protesting because they were hungry, That speaks directly to the austerity measures being taken in Puerto Rico today. The reason why the protests are going to continue. I'm going to one this Friday with people who are losing their pensions because of the Fiscal Control Board that spends a lot more money than we do. The bankers and the vulture capitalists who are represented, they're the patricians now. They are the senators now. So yeah, that's what I saw in Coriolanus. And I'm going to link Jay Shay's video, which I found also very compelling. Oh, another book that I got for Shake Too. I used it last year. I borrowed it from the library, and it was so good. Recommended by Steve Donahue, as a matter of fact. Marjorie Garber's Shakespeare, After All. But she has some of the lectures on YouTube. So go seek them out if you're interested in knowing a little bit about, a little bit more about Shakespeare and how to read some of these plays. So that's all I wanted to do today. Talk a little bit about my being hooked on Coriolanus in post Ricky renunció Puerto Rico. So cuídense mucho, mi gente. Adiós.